Bedard, he has his Patriots pod, and he said this. I'm going to play this. I want to get your guys' reaction. I'll give my reaction, but let's just roll this sound.
People around the team, including some very good sources of mine who have never steered me wrong, have basically indicated that this Cardinals game on Monday night, with the Patriots going out for their West Coast swing, is among, if not the most important game of Belichick's career post Tom Brady. That if the Patriots don't win this game, then I think there is a serious question about whether Belichick is the future head coach of this team. This is almost a must-win on Monday night against the Cardinals as far as Belichick's concerned. And I think it's, things have a chance to go off the rails.
Wow, well, what great timing then, because the Cardinals suck.
Yes.
I mean, their defense sucks, their offense sucks, everything about them sucks. So this is what great timing. You're probably going to have you're probably going to throw for 380 yards. You'll probably get a couple interceptions, probably, a bunch of tackles for loss, a couple sacks. So this is great timing. Thank God. Woo, because if this Arizona game went bad, they would have got him the hook and got him the hell out of there. Is that it?
Greg Bedard said that he has sources around the team who have never steered him wrong.
Mm-hmm. Which implies that there are sources that have steered him wrong.
Yes, that he's been John Hyman.
Yeah.
There are rumblings at Gillette that Belichick's future is tied to the outcome of this Arizona Cardinals game on Monday night.
No, it's not a chance. If
What?
it's no, it's not a chance.
Well,
not a chance.
Maybe not because of this one game in a
no,
vacuum.
it's a
This
cumulative
point in the
event.
season.
I'm sorry. Can we play back the first part of that?
I don't care what Greg Bedard
I don't
said.
want to gloss over this because
People around the team, including some very good sources of mine who have never steered me wrong, have basically indicated that this Cardinals game on Monday night, with the Patriots going out for their West Coast swing, among, if not the most important game of
Stop
Belichick.
it there. That's fine. The most important game of Belichick's career post Brady.
Yeah.
That's the point that we're at?
Well,
That's the point that we're at?
What would it have been previously? I feel like that's probably not a crazy statement. Like, we're only a couple years out. There hasn't been that many examples of the most important game of Bill's time post Brady.
I would say that Bills playoff game was more important than this Monday night Cardinals game against a crap team. Bedard goes on in this podcast. There's a lot of context around it. He says that he does think that the Patriots are going to beat the Cardinals. Okay, great. So, it kind of lowers the stakes a little bit there if you're following his logic here.
Yeah, if you lose a game, you're the favorite, and no one thought they were going to be Buffalo last year. I didn't think they had a chance in that game. This is a game you're supposed to win, and it's a point in the season where if you lose, you have to win out just to get to the 10 wins and have a chance at the playoffs. So
but he's not even talking about the season. He's talking about Belichick standing with the team. The future with the team. He's not talking about, hey, this is a must-win to keep, or nearly a must-win to keep the season alive. We'd all agree with that. You drop this one.
Well, see, I think
good
there's
luck the rest of the way. We're talking about Belichick's season.
Yeah, but Tommy Curran was talking about Kraft and how impatient he is, and maybe not impatient's the right word, but how, they haven't won a playoff game in 3 years and how that was a real eat. Curran was talking about this, and I think he's right. I think that if this season dies, in the next 2 games here, that's going to get those wheels moving. I don't think that's a crazy take.
And I think there's a difference between, losing and being embarrassed. Being embarrassed, not being able to function as a football team, which is what it looked like last week. Nothing they did was at a high level. Now, I'm okay with a team that has better athletes, that is just physically beating me up. Listen, our guys aren't as strong. They're trying. We're putting them in a good position to win, but they're just not as good. We need better players. So if you get beat that way, it's different than you just missing blocks, falling on the ground, looking like the Raiders did last night. That, to me, is all coaching. And if you can't be the most penalized team in the NFL and say that it isn't coaching, because who's telling these guys what to do? With penalties, it's always coaching, always. It's the standard that you set. It's the means that you go about keeping that standard high, and it's the accountability that you force with these penalties with the team. There's got to be penalties. You got to be in trouble. You got to feel ashamed. They're not. The days of them feeling geez, I feel like I really screwed up my team. They don't. Look at the Raiders. Look the same to me. Look exactly the same. Terrible timing with penalties, stupid mistakes that came at the worst possible time, that extended drives and gave the other team an ability to win. That normally wouldn't happen. I'm okay with Bill coaching a team, a very disciplined team, that is just losing because the other team's just physically more better talented than you. Not losing the way they're losing, though. That would add that caveat to that statement, though.
I want to go back to the premise that he's putting out there, though, that there's talk around Gillette or at Patriot Place, however he words it, sources around the team who are saying that Bill Belichick's future hangs on this one game. That this is an indicator of what the Crafts will do next. I just don't get that.
Well, didn't Curran? I've been telling you guys this for a while. I feel like I don't know if you got the hint or not. Curran mentioned it the other day. And we talked about it the other day because I feel like in the past this would be something that I would mock. Bill's not on the hot seat. Bill's not losing his job.
Thin ice, however you want to say it.
Yeah, exactly, right. But to me, there's a long laundry list of terrible decisions that normally I would say, well, okay, you give every coach a couple bad decisions. That one didn't work out, but he's like 0 for 15. Everything, the offensive line, the coaching decisions, how you manage the quarterback, what you're doing on defense, special teams, all that stuff. None of it's working. And sometimes the mistakes you make aren't really seen and then nobody notices them, but these are so obvious. And I will add the fact how he tries to gaslight us. I'm not letting that go.
I know.
I'm not letting
you are
it go.
A dog with a bone.
But he does it all the time, Mego. I do.
I know, but Christian,
it finally makes sense.
Christian, I agree with everything you're saying, and I agree with a lot of what Tom has said on our program and his own podcast and his own shows. And
no, it's me again with those weirdo pauses.
and put an ink on NBCSportsBoston.com. I agree with that, but to me, the thin ice comes in with what do you do in the offseason? Are you willing to make a dramatic change at offensive coordinator? Are you willing to switch up what's around Mac Jones, both in terms of protection and playmakers? Are you willing to make a drastic overhaul in the offense that way in order to support this young quarterback who I think Robert Kraft is still very high on? It's not about whether you beat the Arizona Cardinals. Quite frankly, I don't think it's even about whether you make the playoffs or not. Because I think you can look at either way this season. If somehow miraculously you even got a playoff win and got to the next round, everyone knows this team isn't going anywhere. I'm sorry. If you feel like this team is going somewhere, you can call in and tell us how that's going to happen. I watch Thursday Night Football back-to-back, and I don't see it that way. So I think when we talk about thin ice and the hot seat, it's there's going to be dramatic changes coming down the road. I don't think it's hot seat hey, you lose an embarrassing game on Monday Night Football and you're no longer our guy. That just seems so contrary to how they run everything with this team.
Yeah, I mean, they've had the same people for 20 years. That's certainly going to be different. I guess, let me ask you this. If they had said this season was a really important the most important season in the post-Tom Brady era for Bill Belichick, would you think that's a crazy
season?
Thing? Yeah, that this season was so important.
No, I'd say it's next season.
Okay.
Assuming that Bill doesn't get fired after Monday Night Football.
Right.
I'm just putting that out there. Assuming that he'll be here next season.
I know what you mean. I think that if there's a chance that the Crafts are getting sort of antsy about this and that they think a step backward, if they win a playoff game this year, that's a step forward from last year. And that's a step that no one was expecting, at any point this year, once we saw what the offense looked like and what a bad start they got off to. So I think that if they're able to kind of pull that together, you can sell that to the fans. Hey, we weren't great last year, but we did win a playoff game, and, the future's looking up. We still got Mac Jones on his rookie deal. Things started to come together at the end of the year. We won a playoff game, whatever. You can sell that to the fans. Fans will buy that. They're not going to buy you taking a step back. Going to the playoffs last year and then missing it this year, that's going to be looked at pretty sourly by everyone, including ownership, I think.
See, what happens at this point in time with a coach that has all this power, ownership usually takes something away from them. So Bill pretty much has autonomy to do whatever he wants. It is one of those things where he picks the players, he co-signs on everything. He may have a bunch of scouts, but he's ultimately, even with the draft. So I can easily see ownership saying, you know what, I'm going to hire a GM and he's in charge. You guys, he's in charge of picking the talent. You just coach the team. You manage it that way. Even then, even if that happens,
you could see this ownership doing that to Bill.
Well, listen, there's going to have to be a change.
You see Bill not quitting after that?
No, that was my next point.
50% of Bill's job away.
No, he's walking. I don't think he would do it, and I don't think he would do it at all. He would just walk. because he's at his age, he's not doing this. He's like, you know what? And I still think that even if it ends terribly wrong, just terribly, right? And let's say they lose the next 5 games. Let's say they lose to Arizona, they lose to the Rays, and they go 0 for 5. I still don't think they fire him. Not a chance in hell. I think they say, benefit of the doubt, 20-plus years, tons of success. You've earned it. Change the offensive coordinator.
The way that I could understand this report from Greg Bedard would be that someone in ownership or front office or someone around the team is really pissed off about seeing that game flexed out of Sunday Night Football. Because it was only a couple years ago that you would see the Patriots on Sunday Night Football several times a year, at least 2 times a year, maybe 3 times a year, that they would be flexed into that spot because it would be such an enticing matchup that they'd have coming up, and people just enjoy watching Tom Brady, Bill Belichick. So I guess on the one hand, I can understand that perhaps it's like, okay, we've been in prime time back to back, and it's looked bad for us. It's important to have a good showing in prime time, but to say it's the most important game post Brady, it's just, and it has implications for his future. It just takes,
you know what? It's like an or else to me.
A little bit.
Like I wouldn't threaten. Like it feels like a threat. It feels like an or else.
Yeah.
Like beat this team or else. Like do this or else. And I don't think he would handle like somebody like, threatening him like that, trying to like hold him hostage. Like, I'm going to hold you hostage until
I doubt anyone said
it.
this to Bill. I don't think anyone's told Bill this.
No, that
might be something that they're thinking up in the suites, but I don't know that that's something that they would express to the coaching staff.
No, not a chance. Can you imagine them going in and like kind of like, listen, this is an important game for you. Really, why? Well, I'm just saying it's important.
I don't want to tell you how to do your job.
I don't want to tell you what to do, but you should probably win. What is that supposed to mean?
You think I'm trying not to win?
Yeah. You think I'm trying to lose on purpose? No, I've heard from reliable sources too.
Wait.
I have.
Let's get this clean.
No, why are we acting like this is the first time I've said this?
I don't know what you're going to do.
Why are you acting? I don't need the drum. I've been telling you this. I've been telling you for the past 3 weeks.
Tell it to the people.
I've already told it to the people. I've heard the same thing. Why are you
repeating yourself?
I've heard the same thing about this whole he's not on thin ice, but getting tired of the act,
Who's getting tired of it?
People who are in the know. People, very important people. What did Bedard say? People who never steered me wrong. What do you want to say? Like, name the person who said it?
No, but is it somebody around the team?
People who make decisions. That's it. People who make decisions
are tired of losing?
No, there's been a long history. Now, losing, it's less about the losing. It's more about you put up with someone because they're successful. You put up with their antics. You put up with their personality. You put up with a lot of stuff. You put up with them, deflate gate, scapegoat, whatever the hell it is, all the gates that you want to make up. You put up with it because they're winning. When you start making terrible decisions, when you start embarrassing the franchise, people sit there and go, well, yeah, why are we putting up with this? He's not even winning. We're going to still put up with this? He's not winning. And look, like we're getting flexed. We're losing money. People are making fun of us. Like now we have the powers in our court. And that is what I'm talking about. When you start losing, that power, like you lose control.